Yo. Actually, wait, let me go get a drink. Yo. Driving Max to drink heavily. Dude, I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. I never have soda in this house because I really like soda. And I mean, soda's fine in certain situations, but for me, it's like a little too much sugar than what I'm usually trying to drink. Specifically, it doesn't like, it's not carbs that'll last you with energy. It's like it just goes away and you get a big crash. Basically, I eat a lot of carbs, but soda usually doesn't do it. But I had Thanksgiving at the house yesterday. First time I've ever done that, by the way. Straight adult stuff. You know what I mean? Hosted my girlfriend's family at the house for Thanksgiving. My girlfriend cooked a bunch of food, and it was great. Um, but because of that, we have some leftover soda at the house. So, but I am drinking the number one soda ever, Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream. Enter the world of zero calorie soda. So I have like a thing with that. So like I'm good with drinking water. I drink a ton of water. I don't need anything more than water to drink, you know? Um but if I'm going to drink a soda, I'm trying to drink yeah, I'm trying to drink something that tastes great. Like I'm making a mistake and I know like I don't know how to describe this. Like if I'm going to drink a soda, if I'm going to do something I shouldn't do, I'm going to fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to drink a I'm not drinking diet soda, you know what I mean? Like I think for a lot of people they just drink they really want to drink soda and not really don't want to they don't really want to drink water, so they drink like a less bad soda. But I'm just trying to drink like real bad soda just in extreme moderation. That's me. S tier Thanksgiving side dishes. All right, I'm going to throw you my number one Thanksgiving side dish. I don't know how popular this is. I had it as a kid because I had my girlfriend make it and it was really good yesterday. Um, but I don't know how common it is across where you live, but I had what was it? A green bean casserole with like the little crispy onions on top. My dude. My dude, that shit goes so hard it's insane. It's just simply it's simply the best. Yeah, turkey turned out good. As usual at Thanksgiving, I ate way too much food. I ate way too much food. But I feel like that's just what you're supposed to do, you know? That goes hard, but sweet potatoes with marshmallows is bonkers. I need to eat more sweet potatoes too. I like sweet potatoes, but I've also learned they're like among the most goated thing to eat before intense exercise. Like basically they're just like really long lasting carbs. So I need to eat that shit more. You can fix the too much food with a quick little hockey game or workout. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm going to do that. I'm not playing today, and I didn't play yesterday. So I'm taking 2 days off, which is probably good because my foot needs to heal a little bit. But I also drank yesterday, drank some wine. And a day after drinking and overeating just feels so bad whenever you play. Max, have you seen the new video in the Liquid Guild channel? I want to know your thoughts on what your raiders think. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but that could be a react we do. So today, I kind of want to just like go over the raid testing with you guys. We saw every boss that they're going to test, plus an end boss, which they, you know, some guilds got in and you were able to see it, which was kind of interesting. That's the first time you've seen end boss footage in PTR since Sylvanas, so that's like kind of significant. I'm sure most of you have seen it already if you are about that shit. It's not like hard to find, but I wanted to do that. There's a bunch of stuff honestly to do past that, but I mean, what else did I put in my title? Oh yeah, they announced the release date. We could talk about that for like 2 minutes. I think that's about when everyone expected it would be out. It's actually a little later than I thought it would be. And what else? I kind of want to just... I think doing like little weekly check-ins on where UIs are going is really nice because like it's honestly interesting. It's like add-ons are starting over again. Like every week, whatever UI you could get is getting significantly better and like with more options and better customization. So like just seeing that progress is really interesting to me. Like for example, I'm at the point where I know how fast it's progressing and I really care about my UI in WoW. Bro, I'm not making a UI until like the expansion's almost out because I feel like you're just gonna have to redo it. Like new stuff is being created like every day with what new stipulations there are. So not to mention, like, something I've thought about is making my own UI, because I'm a fairly large WoW streamer, and I could make my UI and people could watch it, and then they'll be like, I want that, and then I could do the, like, the sell your UI grift, and just, like, sell people that UI. But I'm just too lazy for that, so I'm gonna... All I know is there's been a lot of grifters with their UI over the last, like, especially 5 or 6 years. And those people are insanely motivated to continue getting those Patreons, those Twitch subs, those you know, the money for their UIs. So I'm gonna trust that one of those dudes is just gonna make a crazy good UI that I can just steal when the expansion comes out. That's gonna be the move. Those people have a lot of work to do, though. Like, at least the ones that I was aware of, the really, really good and popular ones, which I think in the top end largely was Atrocity UI, Atrocity UI, Now UI, Fragments UI, right? And then there's, I think outside of the top end, there's a bunch of really popular ones. Like I think Quasi maybe had a UI. I know he had a lot of UI videos. I know Luxthos is like pretty popular setup. Those dudes are all like very motivated to make something, so they're gonna do that for sure, and I know what to expect from it. So In the end, I think it's going to be a net positive for WoW. I'm just worried for healers in Season 1, especially for tracking specific buffs. Yeah, I'm the most worried for healers as well. That being said, they've at least acknowledged it as a problem, and the expansion is, it's going to be 3 full months until the expansion's out, basically, from today. A little longer. That's 3 months and a week, basically. That's a long time. So I imagine whatever you're looking at now, it'll definitely be better than this. As far as, like, workable or acceptable. It's hard to talk about acceptable, too, because, like, for some people, acceptable is going to be, like, just as good as whatever add-ons were available before midnight. And that, by the way, that isn't going to happen for, like, anything. If that's your expectation, you're going to be disappointed. And I think it's fair to say that, like, if Blizzard can't bring that, then that's, like, they didn't succeed. I think it's, like, a little bit more nuanced than that. I don't, like, I literally don't think Blizzard can, like, they have a bunch of money, a bunch of resources. I don't know how many people are working on this, but the idea that they're going to replicate as one unit, they're going to replicate exactly the functionality of every single add-on in that amount of time, when those people had spent, like, legit 15 years making these things and updating them, all specifically with an individual team working on each specific add-on, not one team working on all of them. It's just simply not possible. But that being said, there is a standard that is expected, and a lot of the stuff they're providing is falling below that right now. But I do think it'll get better. Hopefully it's good enough to where it's not a... I think they just want it to get to the point, and this is probably what they should shoot for, where, like, people log in and they're like, what the fuck is this? If it's like, oh, okay, it doesn't do this and this, but, like it does most, it does most of what it needs to do, then that's probably going to pass for a lot of people. But yeah, still a huge risk. Max, what would you guess is the current percentage of players with highly optimized UIs? Oh, extremely small. But they're power users of the game. They, like, play the shit out of the game, so they're very loud and they are very opinionated about the game because they love it, right? So that's why you see a lot of it. But I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna say, like, less than 10% of people who play the game have, like, a highly optimized UI, and I would say probably 10% of those people actually have a highly optimized UI, meaning that they've optimized it for themselves. Like, they know how they intake information. Like, for example, they didn't just copy someone's UI. They copied it and then they tinkered with it so certain things work for them. Like, for example, if I were to take, like, Fired Up as a good example. If I were to take Fired Up's UI and try to progress on it, it would not work for me because he uses a lot of icons and I use a lot of bars. And his brain can't process bars and my brain can't process icons. So, like, if I were to use his UI, I would be technically using a highly optimized UI, but it wouldn't be highly optimized for myself. And I think that's what a lot of people do. They just, like, download something and they don't actually know what works for them, and they just, like, have it on their screen, but it's not doing anything. Look at Yoda, who has one of the least optimized UIs. Clearly isn't a hard requirement. Yeah. New Fellowship season. Was it announced? Was the new Fellowship season announced? I mean, Nick's raid frames suck, but he's goated. Yep. Yeah, we have a decent amount of people in our guild who did not make really good use of the good technology available to you, and we have players who utilized a lot of it. And I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see how people adapt to that in the upcoming tier. Although there has been one narrative, I think, that people have said, and I've kind of alluded to in the past, which is that players that, were really smart in doing this, because this is what we asked them to do, to tailor a UI and let this technology help you as much as possible so you can be as good of a player as you can be. The narrative is that, like, oh, well, those people might struggle going into this expansion because doing things without that information is, like, they haven't been training for it, so it's going to be an adjustment period, and they might not seem as good as other players. And while that might be true with some players, I don't think it's going to be the biggest thing. Like, I think it might even just be fake news, because the reality is the people who use technology over the last few years, what's been available to you in WoW to be better, cybernetic enhancements, as Blizzard calls them. Those people are just good problem solvers. They were tasked with a problem, and they found the most efficient and best way to solve it, right? And that's really what makes you kind of a good WoW player, a good WoW raider, is your ability to do really quick problem solving, a lot of problems at the same time, and just that's how you become an efficient player quickly. Those players who are really good at problem solving that used that technology to solve some of their problems are probably still going to be the better players because they're really good at doing that, and there's just going to be a new solution to the problem, and they're going to be faster at figuring it out than other people for the same reason why they resorted to UI and help and stuff. So it's probably not going to change much. Max, I've just started Mythic raiding this season in 2 guild jumps, and I've killed Nexus King in a new guild. Do I still have time to get Cutting Edge, or I am cooked? Wait, you just killed Nexus King on Mythic, and you have, what, like 2 months or something until pre-patch? Yeah, I mean, you should, right? I mean, I don't really know the landscape of Cutting Edge, but I mean, I feel like you should be able to do that. The biggest problem from a healer's perspective is that some buffs or debuffs are much more important than others. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just for the same reason as, like, you can kind of get away with the cooldown manager right now, showing you, like, your uptime of certain buffs that are important as a DPS player. That didn't used to be that way, and they've optimized it a lot. It doesn't seem like they've optimized healer frames. Like, I think it should be, I believe, their #1 priority. Like, they need to make their nameplates better, but, like, specifically raid frame stuff is probably the currently most far behind thing from what they're trying to accomplish. Like, the damage meters aren't good right now, just because, I mean, it's like a meme. They're literally tracking, like, damage you do to yourself and adding it into your damage. Plus, but I think people have overstated a lot of what they want from details. Like, I saw a tweet and it was like, here's what you can't do on details. You can't look at interrupts or buff uptime or all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, let's talk about needs and wants. The reality is, like, if you really want that kind of information, you could easily look at logs, right? That, I don't think that has to be there. What does need to be there is deaths. 100p. Like, most important shit with a damage meter is seeing DPS to a specific, or damage to a specific target, and deaths and healing. Obviously, damage and healing are, like, I look at them the same, but, like, you have to be able to quickly look at deaths like that. They have to build that into their meters without an option. It's like arguably I feel like looking at deaths might even be more important than looking at your damage, honestly, because, like, the damage is there almost cosmetically. Like, it doesn't change any decisions you make, but, like, seeing, I don't know, like, I feel like when someone dies, I want to know exactly why. Damage taken by spell, oh yeah, big time. Didn't they say it's coming? To be honest with you, I haven't really checked on the last couple of communications from them, so maybe they have, but I can check it out. Max, don't forget to put chat back on screen since no more MDI. Oh, good shout. Yeah, we still haven't gotten any communication from them as far as how they're going to release these raids. And I really wish they would tell us. Because, like, usually we find out when expansions are coming out and when patches are coming out before the general public, for the reason of, we have the only reason they've ever stated as to why we are given this information is to plan these events, which obviously matter to Blizzard. They promote their game. They're really popular, and they also cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, like, we need to plan for them and hire people and all that shit, right? Okay. So they tell us that for that reason. But then I've been reaching out to them, I'm sure other guilds have as well, of like, okay, you said that this March of Keldanos raid or whatever is coming out later, but can you help Can you explain like what that fucking means? Like here, let me. I think I've showed you this before on a notepad, but there's like multiple options, and there's basically no way to know which one is happening. Okay, like for example, it's option 1 and 2, where it's the only things we know for sure is week 1 is going to be the case. We know that week 1, no matter what, when the season comes out, is going to be Voidspire plus Dream Rift Heroic. That is the one constant that has to happen. That is, they said there's a Heroic week. Those are the 2 raids coming out first. No matter what, the first week is going to be this. Okay, but week 2, 3, and onwards, purely going off what they've said, but there's no concrete information to determine how it's going to really work. So, like if they do March of QD Heroic plus Mythic on week 3, if they do option 1, it's a totally normal Race to World first. We have an event. If it's option 2, it's basically a totally normal Race to World first. We have an event. If it's option 5, right? Totally normal Race to World first. We have an event. If it's option 3 or 4, I don't believe it is going to make sense for us to do an event at all. We wouldn't hire any of these people. Because like where would you do it? Would you do it for the last boss of Voidspire? Would you do it for the last boss of the second boss raid, week 4? And if that's the case, because we can't afford to do a thing this long. It's just straight up. It's not affordable. It's not worth it. We're going to lose a ton of money. It's just we're profitable on these events in a short amount of time, but obviously the viewership in a week of Mythic splits right here in week 3 is going to be negative. Plus those expenses keep adding up. So it's not really, long story short, it's not possible. Okay. So there's basically not going to be an event. We're going to straight up play from home because there's really no ideal time to fly out or back or have an event, whatever. It doesn't make sense. So those are massive decisions, right? Like the reason they've given us information before is because of these events. Well, we need to kind of know if it's one of these two, because if it's one of these two, we can't do an event. And we really need to know that because probably it's not surprising to hear that a couple months out from doing something like this is when you need to have this stuff locked down. So I really wish they would fucking let us know what's going on because we're kind of in limbo until they answer. Max, have they confirmed Heroic Week? The last thing I saw is them saying no comment on Heroic Week. Yeah, they have confirmed Heroic Week. They've never had any rhetoric going away from basically the last time there was a Heroic Week, they said we're doing a Heroic Week here. We're not doing it the rest of the expansion. We like doing it at the beginning of the expansion so people have time to acclimate. And then when speaking about this expansion, they did say there would be another Heroic Week. Yes. If March of Keldanos is actually the hardest boss of the tier, is there a reason to not release the Mythic at the same time as the other 2 raids? They said that this was because of lore. The reason that the raid is delayed is because of story. It has nothing to do with like the race or anything. In the Mr. GM interview, they gave him a no comment answer though. Okay. Maybe I did skip through a lot of that interview because a lot of the questions were not super relevant to stuff we care about, but I can go back and listen to it. But I do remember vividly a interview where they do confirm it. So, dude, I hate this camera, dude. I mean, it's actually just this computer, I guess. I got a new computer and maybe I need a new cam link or something. Might be a USB. It's either cam link or maybe the USB controller on that board / drivers. Yeah, I did like a drive. I mean, I can certainly check that again. When I set up this computer, I have this utility that someone recommended to me who was smarter than me a long time ago. It's like on Steam you can get it. It's called like Driver Booster or something like that, and it's like really really good for getting like all the drivers on your PC. And I did that when I got this computer, but maybe I could look deeper and actually like go to the actual website and download like the most recent one or something. It is quite annoying though. I fixed it though. Here you go. Driver booster sounds like a scam. It does sound like a scam. But I did some research into it. It seemed good. If someone has a better one, I'll use that. If 3 or 4 happens, then what? Unsure. Getting. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's if 3 and 4 happens, we will have no other choice than to just everyone plays from home. There's no other way to look at it. Have you factored that they probably have no clue what's even going to happen? No, not really. Judging their normal timeline of how this stuff's usually laid out ahead of time, I very strongly believe that they know exactly how they're releasing this stuff right now. They're just not telling us for some reason. Have the sponsors been happy with the wins? I don't know, I guess. All right, boys. Have you guys looked at all of the testing done so far? Has anyone seen any of the testing? So we have tested, let me find this. We have tested a bunch of bosses by now. All of them except for the last boss in the Void Spire and the last boss of March of Keldanos. What's the name of that one guy in Instant Dollars that always seems they're testing? Millie Z? Millie Wow? He usually streams their testing. Let me see if he has it now. Millie from the West. Well, this is his, Oh, I think he only uploads their mythic testing, and we've only done heroic testing so far, which means he might not have even testing it. His Twitch VODs are up. All right, we'll do that. This is Millie from the West is my goat for these instant dollar tests. Okay. So I will give you the raid layout before we go any further. Actually, I don't even really remember these bosses' names, so maybe that won't help. Basically, this raid layout is real simple. Okay. First boss, and then you can choose between 2 or 3. And then it goes linear to 4, and then straight up linear all the way to 6. 5, 6. That's Void Spire. Second raid is the, I even forget what it's called. Dream something. It's a dragon boss. One boss raid. That's the boss layout. It's just a one boss thing. And then the other one is 1 into 2. So those are the 3 raids. Very easy to understand. Now these aren't actually, interesting enough, these aren't actually where the boss difficulty lies. If you wanted to remake this, I believe based on Blizzard's stated intentions, a few things would actually change here. Okay, so the way this would actually look is the first raid would have the first boss into the second or third boss. Okay, into the 5th boss. Into, let me think about this. Yes, 6th, and then 8th. And then there's a 1 boss raid that has boss 4 in it. And then the last raid has bosses 7 and 9. This can be very confusing, but basically there's 9 total bosses in the tier. And based on little snippets from their interviews where they've given some idea of how hard or easy some of these bosses are, they said that basically the second to last boss of the tier is going to be the last boss of Voidspire. That's why this is 8. They said that the single boss raid is going to be around a 4th boss difficulty, which, now, if you're confused by what does 4th boss difficulty mean, you're not wrong, because in the last expansion, the 4th bosses were either Rashanan, which was a complete one-shot, and then there was Styx, and then there was Forge Weaver, which were both impossibly hard. But then after they were impossibly hard, Blizzard stated that basically, okay, we knew they were too hard. Like, it was an accident, right? It wasn't they were doing it on purpose. Legendary incompetence to do that 2 tiers in a row, but whatever. So who knows what this boss single raid, 1 boss raid, 4th difficulty, allegedly difficulty, like, I don't know what that actually is supposed to mean. But yeah. And then the last raid is going to be, the first boss is not really going to be the second to last boss. It's going to be like a little easier than that, but still difficult. And then the last boss is like the last boss of the raid. Oh, so heroic raid testing. We might have to bounce around here. Unless, does someone else have a Twitch? Okay, I've realized YouTube videos are much more efficient for this. Does anyone have, like, YouTube of all the heroic testings? That sounds like a Kalamazi preheat thing if they were to have done that. Yeah, my goat. Okay. So let's start with the first boss of the Voidspire. I don't know his name, so it's not Chimeras. That's like this. That's like the single boss raid. It's not Saldahar. It is this boss. There we go.
What's going on, guys? Kalamazi here.
Okay, skip ahead. Oh no, he pauses. God damn it. Because he's explaining it as well. Shit. Okay, this is gonna be bad. Need to find someone else. I want it to, like, kind of just go in the background while I... Yeah, preheat. Wow. He does play through it at the end. No talking. Oh, boss kill. W. That's perfect. Okay, so this is the first boss of the raid. So it's a good time for them to do this kind of gimmick. But it's a tic-tac-toe boss. Okay, how this is going to work is basically the boss... let me go right from the poll. The boss is going to claim 3 places with ads. Okay, so it's going to do this. And then it's going to... Okay, I guess it's only 2. Oh, no, it did a far one. It's going to do 3. So there's, like, you can see the tic-tac-toe, right? Like, there's the middle, and then you can see the 8 places around it. The boss will try to capture 3 zones. You have the ability to get rid of 2. And then, so every time he does this mechanic, he will claim 1 space. And your goal is to prevent him from doing a tic-tac-toe. That's it. That's the whole bit of the boss. There's some ad cleave. There's some boss positioning stuff. But basically, that's it. So now, since you didn't kill this last one, the boss permanently claims this space. And there will be mechanics coming from this. It's so hard to see because he's so far away. But basically, that thing's going to spawn ads. And it's going to have a soak, similar to like Stone Legion Generals. Like the Eruption soak. It's just going to spawn there. You're just probably assign 1 person to it. Then you're like, that's the soak right there. And then that just ramps as the fight goes on. So I'm going to keep going here. You'll see that now the boss has claimed two spots here in a row. Okay, so now, obviously, the next time he tries to claim, you're going to see the boss is going to spawn new ads. Okay, let's see if he turns his camera. Please turn your camera. There's just no way. Okay, good. So now the boss has done this. He's tried to claim middle side here. As far as I could tell as well, the way they designed this boss is he does actually make what would be the correct move anytime he can, which is not really complicated with this kind of boss logic. Like, for example, if you have 2 claim spaces right here, you're obviously going to try to claim the 3 next to it. But obviously they can't let him go to this one. But they decide to do the middle first. And then they do the one on the side, so now he can't do it. And then now, obviously, he can get a 3 in each way. So the boss is going... Next time he spawns these mechanics, the boss is going to go corner, middle, corner. And either corner will wipe you, so you have to leave the middle and you have to do the 2 corners, which they do. And now the next time this happens, there's no way to stop it, right? Because the boss will try to go corner, try to go this corner, and then try to go to, like, the far corner. And you can only do 2 out of 3, so he's going to kill you. And then hopefully they show the enrage sequence, or maybe they just burn through it. Yeah. It looks. Oh, here's the enrage sequence. So, like, they kill it here, but, like, this is what it looks like when you enrage. Like, basically, this shit just, like, comes across the room and you're, like, killing him and running away at the same time. It's kind of sick. It's a really cool first boss, honestly. That's basically it. In Mythic, all that happens is it's kind of, we haven't tested this on Mythic yet, so I'm kind of guessing here. And there's also going to be new stuff added into the journal next week, probably, but it just says basically there's like a shadow guy claiming it. I don't really know what that means. I think the way that I've deciphered it is just in Mythic, he's going to capture 2 spaces every time instead of 1. And there's one that you can never get rid of because the guy is in stealth. But it's really cool. So that's that's fun though. Yeah. No, seems this is, I mean, we did this and usually it's really funny. Our guild is usually really like negative in PTR. We're like, oh, this boss is bad. It's so easy. It's so whatever. Just like it's really often because people don't feel challenged. It's not only is it heroic, but it's a tuned down heroic because they want you to test it. But most people left this boss and were like, that was pretty cool. Right? Like they pretty unique first bosses. They're usually pretty good at doing first bosses. It's something that's I think kind of hard to do because it has to be interesting enough. Basically, it needs to be easy as fuck, but trying to do something interesting that's also easy as fuck is really hard. And I feel like they have actually cooked with that in recent years. Now the second boss, I do not feel very strongly about the second boss, but I'll show it to you now. His name is Voracious. Let's go to the boss kill. Okay, so it's basically like Chromog, Crosis, off the edge type boss. Okay, so you're just fighting him. He never moves. And basically, this is the entire boss. Okay, there's some tank mechanics that doesn't matter. So there's a little earthquake you dodge, and then there's these two walls. The reason this wall is relevant is at some point in this fight, he's going to beam from one side to the other, and if you haven't broken one of these walls, he's going to, like, you're just going to all die to the beam. So just by the time he does the beam, which you can see right here is 1 minute from now, you would have to break these walls. And how you break the walls is these ads spawn that fixate people. And you just have to pop these ads on a wall. And once 3 of them blow up on a wall, the wall dies, and then you can use that side of the room. That's it. That's the entire encounter. They fixate you and they melee you. You kite them over here. You'll see they die. They do this little explosion when they die. And then now that enough of them have died, this wall will break. And now he does Void Breath. Okay, so he's going to Void Breath to the left all the way to the right. And then now the safe spot is just going to the right side of the room as this breath goes across. That's literally it. On Mythic, the ads can't be CC'd in any way. And there's like some other stuff. There's some stuff that we read that doesn't even make sense after seeing it heroic, but it's basically this. This is like not a lot going on here, right? But whatever. Second boss. This boss will certainly be one shot. Or actually, I don't know. This is one of those weird bosses where like there's still early bosses where you can make a simple mistake and like there's a binary way you die. Like, for example, if like literally one person messes up on Mythic and like takes this blister creep to the wrong spot, or like it dies too early or something because you're more powerful than you think you are, then you actually binary pass fail wipe because like this wall won't break and you can't live the breath. So aren't ads dying going to hurt a lot, so you need to pop them one by one? Yeah, kind of. But I mean, we're talking about like how good the boss is, right? Like obviously it'll have some more challenge to it, but it's just this is it. It's just that's all the boss does. W. I have nothing else to say about it. It's a WoW boss. All right, third boss. So Fallen King Saldahar, you may recognize that name from Nexus King Saldahar. This is Fallen King after we have defeated him. This is the third boss in the raid, but also technically, like could be the second, right? There is a choice to go left or right. Kind of famously in WoW's history, anytime there's been a like, oh, well, you could just go to this boss or this boss, there usually is one that is not only clearly harder, but is seemed to intended to be clearly harder. Like, not like it's clearly harder and Blizzard like overtuned one of them. Like, there's just a clear boss order in their mind, which, by the way, is smart. I think a perfect WoW raid has basically completely linear difficulty from beginning to end, and there is not any two bosses that are the same. I think that actually just sets everyone up for success every guild level. So that's basically this boss. It's think Raw Den kinda. So basically, look at these like sides of the room here, like where these three markers are for. Actually, I think it's not where the three markers are from. So right here, and right here, they're gonna spawn orbs. On Heroic, it was 2 at a time. It does it pretty soon, so I'm just gonna let you watch it. But basically, you just have to DPS down the 2 orbs, kind of like Raw Den. Except it's not like as, I mean, Raw Den is just an infinitely more complicated fight. Let's see, this ad comes in here. So now you need both of these to die, but specifically you need them to die 8 seconds apart because of a debuff. It might be 6. So you don't want to kill them all at the same time. That's it. They just chase the boss. If they touch the boss, you die. There's a kick mechanic, but I'll go over that in a second. Actually, no, I'll go over that now once it happens again. So they kill that one, and then they kill this one. Very basic mechanic. So there are 3 potential spawns from this. On Heroic, it rotated 2 at a time. On Mythic, I believe there will be 3, but it's possible there won't because of the Mythic mechanic. So before I get to the kick mechanic, actually, the Mythic mechanic of this is every single time he spawns orbs, which is pretty common, right? So right now, you're seeing the last one get killed. In 22 seconds, he spawns the next set. Okay, the Mythic mechanic is every time you kill an orb, the next time it spawns orbs, it's going to respawn this orb again, but it has way less HP, but it still has the same mechanic of if it hits the boss, you all get owned. That's basically what this fight is on Mythic. Is just, you kind of have to kill these orbs where you want them to respawn, in a way, which is actually really cool. Like, it's really fun. And you want to just make sure the orbs die in the same spot, basically. Okay, that's basically it. And the kick mechanic now. Okay, so there's some dodge mechanics, right? Like, there's these things, you just don't want to get hit by them. There's some Mythic alterations to this stuff, but just not relevant enough to have you really think about until we get there, except for the kick mechanic, which I find to be really fun. So I want them to show this kick mechanic here. Here we go. Okay, so do you guys see these fractured images that are casting Unstable Nexus? All of these just need to get kicked and they go away in Heroic. Real simple. In Mythic, they have like interrupt armor if you're used to that. It's actually called something else. It's some kind of whatever. But basically, just picture these 3 images that spawn right here. Now imagine this image has 0 stacks of the kick armor. This one has 1, and this one has 2. This one will be the only kickable image because the other 2 have a stack of interrupt armor that does not allow them to be interrupted. When you kick this one, it is going to take the interrupt armor off of the rest of them. So they have to be kicked in an order, right? So like, for example, if this one had 0 stacks, this had 1, and this had 2, you would have to kick this one, then this one, and then this one. It's not like you have to kick it to remove the interrupt armor was a bad word. You don't have to kick this multiple times to get it. It's just they are not kickable until you kick the correct one. Now, when you are looking at this and you listen to that, you're like, okay, that sounds really complicated. Didn't we just get rid of kick rotations and all that stuff? But it's really not going to be complicated at all. Because when this image has 2 stacks of interrupt armor, do you see how his Unstable Nexus shows as kickable here? Like, in his UI, a green cast means this is a cast that can be stopped. Do you know how some casts, when they can't be kicked, it shows as, like, gray? Like, it's an unstoppable mob or a kick won't work or whatever. Okay, so the way this is actually going to look is like if this was on Mythic, these 2 bars would be gray and this one would be green. So obviously anyone with a ranged kick would kick this one and then this one would turn green and then this one would turn green. It's a pretty long cast. So like, it's a really long cast, right? So I don't think it's going to be like challenging to do that. I also don't think an interrupt weak aura would even change anything about that. But that's basically the mechanic. I thought that was like really unique and not something I had seen before, and pretty cool. Obviously, it's not going to be the hard version of whatever you could do with that. Not only because they just got rid of add-ons and stuff, but because it's the third boss. Right, there is a later boss version of something you could cook up with that, but it's not going to be done on the third boss. That's basically it. That's this guy. I think really cool. I think this is this. Oh yeah, and then he does the Nexus King intermission ad thing. It's easy. Max, what happens if you kite the orbs until the next set? You have to wait and find out. Okay. Let's go. So this was on the first day of testing. I think I'm going to show you the rest of Voidspire first, because we did test another boss on the first day, but it was Chimeras. But we're not going to look at Chimeras yet. We're going to actually continue and look at the other two bosses in Voidspire before the last boss, which obviously was not tested. Okay, so we have Veilgore and Ezerak. It's a 2-target dragon boss. Oh my god, he does not have a... Just don't pause. He's not going to... Okay, he has a Lua warning over his entire... And he's pausing. Fuck. Maybe he just does the boss kill at the end? It appears so. I'm just going to let it play. Yeah, I think he does here. Okay, so when you pull them, each boss needs to kind of be kept close to each other in health. Like, for example... they don't share HP, but let's say you got Veilgore to 70% here and Ezerak was still at 100. Ezerak would be doing a lot more damage. You'd enrage the bosses by keeping their health that far apart. So you need to actively keep them as close as possible to minimize like extra raid damage. And they each have two main mechanics. There's 3 phases of this fight. There's first phase where Veilgore's on the ground and Ezerak's in the air. Second phase is Ezerak is on the ground and Veilgore's in the air. And then the last phase, they're both down at the same time. Very Stone Legion Generals phasing type thing. However, each of them has like one main mechanic. They are doing this all the time, even when only one of them's on the ground. But when the one's on the ground, it's doing its mechanics more often. So Veilgore's main mechanic is Null Beam. He's going to do like a breath on someone here. That's like a fear breath you just take out of the raid easy. This Null Beam here. So they are soloing it. The way this mechanic is intended to work is the more people soak the Null Beam, like the less strong the suck is after this during the tether. That's not exactly how it was working in testing though. But as soon as this Null Beam goes off, it's going to tether the entire raid. These spreads here are showing you like just how big the spread will be. Now you're going to see to pop his thing here. Oh, does his UI not show it? Oh, those are some ads, just some basic ads. Then you would just want to snap your tether. They have their whole raid snap their tether. There should be some kind of animation to show where he's going to snap it. But basically everyone's going to become tethered. It does raid damage when you snap it. And the last person to snap it just does a bunch of extra raid damage. See this dot that just went on the raid, the big purple one? That's just the last person snapping it. That's all it is. On Mythic, I believe the first person to snap it also does some projectiles you have to dodge, but pretty basic. Okay, that's Null Beam. That's literally it. The other boss is doing this mechanic, though, called... I forget the name, actually. I'll know it when I see it. Oh, here's the thing. This is where you snap your circle. I just want to watch the other guy do the mechanic here. He's not doing it very often because he's the one in the air. What the fuck is the name, bro? Oh, this is the intermission. Okay, we'll just look at the intermission. So the intermission is, you just kill this ad. You want to stay in the middle to take less damage from the ticking damage. Spread out with these things. Kill the ad when the next phase comes out. Easy. Okay, he's getting Luo errors. That's amazing. All right, this other boss does something. It's like a little orb he shoots across. Oh, wow. This is going to be so hard to see. It's called Gloom. So, oh, perfect. You'll see it right here. So this boss is casting Gloom, and he's shooting it across the room. Enough people need to soak this to where it turns blue, and it gives you a vuln, so you can't soak it too often. And then that just gives you huge area denial at the edge of the room, just rotating as the fight goes on. And the tank can aim that, so it's entirely based on where you want it to be. And that's what created that big purple circle back there. That's that guy's main mechanic, and then that's it. That spawned some ads, which was pretty terrible with stacking nameplates in testing. But that's basically this boss. Super basic. Okay. Moving on. Oh yeah, so this is the second to last boss of Voidspire. More importantly, not the second to last boss of like the raid. I feel like when I tell you it's the second to last boss of Voidspire, maybe in your head you're immediately like, all right, here's the Mugsy, here's the Nexus King, here's the Silken Court. This is the second to last boss in the first raid, but it is not intended to be the second to last boss of the tier. At least in terms of difficulty, just when you're watching it. Here we go. It's called Light Blinded Vanguard. It's a council fight. So basically they're paladin. They're extremely paladin to the point where when you pop Bloodlust on this fight, 2 of them will bubble and you can only hit 1 of them. So now this is interesting because it is kind of a later in the raid council fight. It's not a second to last boss council. It's a like midway. Yeah, like Jaina. Yeah, they're smart, bro. There's ways you can lust on this, by the way, where that isn't annoying for what it's worth. But yeah, very lore centric. It's like popping lust on the pole probably doesn't feel very good, right? Because 2 of them aren't taking any damage, but there are times to press it. Basically, this entire bit is each boss has like, they all have like some mechanics they're doing all the time, but each boss has like a big giga mechanic. And when they're doing that, they're making the other bosses have to move away from them because they're about to spawn a consecrate. And also they like buff them in some way or make them take no damage. And then they do their like ult. So think it's like all 3 bosses have an ult. Okay, so this boss casts Blinding Light. It's not its ult. It just needs to be DPS down and kicked. I believe the first person to do their ult is the tank ad, I believe. I'm going to skip ahead until it does it. Yeah, it's called Divine Toll. So you would just kite these ads out of the circle and continue DPSing them. And then Divine Toll is just some shields go out that you have to dodge. And any boss that's within range of this blue thing during this, like, takes reduced damage. They didn't do a very good job of pre-placing the mobs here. You don't... Like, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, this looks like shit, these mobs are taking no damage, like... You can have 100% damage uptime on this fight with good tank positioning and stuff. Like, don't look at a testing video and be like, this is bad for melee or something. People do that a lot. So that's that guy's ult. I'll explain how the ults are working on Mythic later. Okay, Searing Radiance is just raid damage. All right, so the next guy's ult is the, I believe, the Ret Paladin. Yeah. So the Ret Paladin does... Yeah, the Ret Paladin does I think it's called Execution Sentence. Yeah, does an Execution Sentence soak. It's a massive soak that needs to be split between as many people as you can. And then when it goes off, it also spins Divine Hammers. So you have to dodge Divine Hammers. And that's that guy's ult. And the Holy Paladin's ult is everyone moves away, and then it casts a spell, Tyr's Wrath. And every 5 seconds of Tyr's Wrath, so it does 4 ticks of this, I think, it will give the 5 closest players a massive healing absorb. So the way to deal with this, unless you wanted to stack them on the same people, is you would basically, at every single tick of Tyr's Wrath, you would just have a different group of 5 people be the closest people to this circle. So yeah, you could, like, I don't know, you could try to put those on, like, blood DKs, and they can, like, heal it off, and, like, have less people get it in total. You could try to put it on healers, because they have a lot of self-healing. But that's the idea. So you can see actually they're not doing this. They're just having the same people take it. So they have this Resto Druid, this Warlock, and Preheat. They have 2 to 3 stacks of the Healing Absorb, which is like a colossal number. They were probably just testing it to see if they could heal it off. They did heal it off of one of them. The Warlock has a debuff plus 4 stacks to it. Let's see if they get it off of him. I'm sure they're spamming him. Oh. All right, is Norm going to live? Norm is still going down. Okay, they got it off of him. So on Mythic, are you going to want to put 4 stacks on a Warlock? Probably not, right? But heroic testing, that works. So that's how that guy's mechanic works. All right, so this is basically the whole fight. The Area of Denial is every time there's an ult, they leave a consecration after their ult is over. And then you just keep rotating around this room in a circle, 3-target cleave, and they leave the ship. All right, Mythic mechanic. Mythic mechanic is, as you can probably guess, the most council Mythic mechanic of all time. There's going to be sets of ults. So when this... if I remember them off the top of my head, when this boss is casting Tyr's Wrath back there and doing the healing absorbs, the Ret guy is also going to do his execution sentence Divine Hammer soak thing. And when this boss is doing his Divine Toll Avengers Shield thing, you will also be dealing with Tyr's Wrath. And when the other guy does his Execution Sentence thing, you'll also be dealing with Divine Hammers. Right? So it's just extremely basic, just as you would expect, Council type mechanic. That being said, this didn't. A lot of council bosses have the unfortunate effect of giving mechanic vomit, like things are just happening for no reason, and there's just a shitload of stuff on your screen, and none of it really has a lot of weight to it. I would say this feels pretty well made. Like, obviously, it's really thematic. It's all super paladin-y. And I think like the way that the fight ends, as far as area denial works, I think is all makes sense. I think this is pretty good, right, for what it's supposed to be. I have a feeling this will be harder than people are thinking. Yeah, probably. You know, there's a decent amount of damage on it. So, I mean, you'll also never want to just look at heroic testing, right? Like, this stuff is just doing nothing to you intentionally. And then eventually you run out of room and you have to play in the middle. That's this fight. Okay. So now we will look at the one boss raid. Okay, still doing boss breakdown. Let's go boss kill. Okay, so this boss has like a very Desolate Host-esque element to it. It's going to be really hard maybe for me to describe from just watching one POV unless, let me see how this, maybe, it's really good to see from a POV of someone on the outside. Oh, the screen just went black for a second. Okay, okay, Rift Emergence, some ads have spawned downstairs, right? Those ads are down there with a shield. And now it's going to send down a group of people. Think of it like Desolate Host, like you're going downstairs. Or as very thematic, if you've been watching Stranger Things recently, you go to the upside down by going in this thing. So Kalamazoo goes in, so now he's going to be able to attack these enemies. These enemies will not move until their shield is broken. Oh, that's made the fuck up. They definitely move. But what they're they're fully tankable, and when you break their shield, they go into the right side up. They leave this phase. So your goal when going down, while you can still hit the boss, your goal is to break out these ads as soon as possible because there's a DPS check for these ads dying. Okay, so you want to break these shields. As soon as they break, there's going to be area denial that is down here. Or I believe it's upstairs as well. And they will go upstairs for everyone who is up there to finish them off. So they're beating this Colossal Horror. Now, you can't see it because we're downstairs, but every single mob, as soon as you break them down here, they go upstairs and they try to fixate the boss. And any ad that fixates the boss and gets there, I think it gets a permanent 10% like damage done, plus it heals it or something like that. And then the boss does a cast called, I think it might have already did it. Is it Consuming Miasma? He basically just does a cast called Consume. And like if all the ads aren't in by then, he will just eat the ads and gain their stacks. So now that Kalamazoo isn't going down, you'll see what this is. So now you see the area denial happening. Those are people downstairs knocking the ads up. And now you have to finish these ads before they hit the boss. I'll go over the mythic mechanic in a second. So you guys get the basic idea of this. And this is just in P1 as well. There is a entirely separate P2. The boss rotates P1, P2, P1, P2 indefinitely. Okay, mythic mechanic. If you are within, I think, 8 yards of someone in the other phase, you pulse damage to each other. So that's just, you just never want to be on top of someone from the other. You'll just kill people if you're next to each other. It's not Silken Court, like if you're next to them, everyone instantly dies. Right, so the punish is much smaller, but like obviously you can't do that. There's a couple other mechanics too. There's this Dispel that Kalamazoo gets, and when you Dispel it, it gets rid of any area denial. That's how the room isn't all fucked forever. And there's also one more mechanic as well. So if you are downstairs, I'll try to picture it. So this is on the pole. So while you are downstairs, the boss is going to cast one more debuff. It's going to go on 2 people that are downstairs. And just imagine they have these purple circles on them that are visible in both phases. And you need to have someone from the other realm soak that, or you're basically stunned forever. So you're going to also swap people from the upside down to the top, like pretty consistently. with this mechanic as well. So like there's like a little coordination check where like you're going to need to assign some soaks to go up and down so you don't have people get stuck forever. And then second phase, the boss just flies away. The boss is, I think it still takes damage. It might be immune to damage. But basically the idea is it just breathes across the room, causes a bunch of area denial, spawns some ads. The mythic version of this will also spawn ads in the upside down, and there is a mechanic in this phase to send people down again, in which heroic it doesn't exist at all. So that's P2 of this fight, and then it just repeats, and that's the entire encounter. Now again, this boss is a single boss raid, and the intended difficulty of this is a 4th boss. I have no idea how hard this boss will be, mainly because there's a bunch of ads, and I think if you look at Blizzard famously like over-tuning things in the past, and under-tuning for what it's worth, it almost always involves ads, and it really can involve ads at the beginning of an expansion before they really have a chance to tune for what kind of AoE people do, right? Like think Razageth, right? Like they had literally no idea how much damage you could do in AoE. Look at Forge Weaver, right? Like Forge Weaver was almost exclusively hard because of their ad HP tuning. This could absolutely be the same thing, right? Like, I have no idea whether to tell you. Like, if you were to... Like, I think a good way to look at this is, do you think we're going to get world first on this boss? Us or Echo are going to get world first on this boss? Or do you think this is the kind of boss that someone would kill before we even go in the raid, right? Like, we have killed the 4th boss first in every raid now, I think. For the last expansion, right? So I think all signs would point to, like, probably yes. But I don't know. I could see this being really easy or really hard. It seems pretty simple. But also, they could tune the ad's HP to where this is, like, fucking insane, right? Plus, also, they said it's 4th boss intended difficulty. What does that mean? What does that mean? Who could possibly know what that means? Like, if you were to tell me in Shadowlands, in Dragonflight, in Battle for Azeroth, Blizzard said, oh, it's like a 4th boss, I would know exactly what that meant, because for 10 years, a 4th boss was relatively the same difficulty, and everyone understood what that meant. And then in the last expansion, they have just undid all of that, and now it is genuinely impossible to know how hard a 4th boss is supposed to be. So who knows how this will end up being, but that's the fight. Okay. Now there's one other total boss they have tested on Heroic, and these will also be the only bosses tested on Mythic. There are 2 bosses that are untested, or supposed to be untested. However, we did see the beginning of one of those because Blizzard made a mistake and made the boss available. But I will show you Belora Ren or whatever. This boss is really sick. It's pretty simple. They give... oh, please tell me he does just a boss kill here. Okay, whatever. We'll just play it from here. Though this is P2. Start after this, I guess. Okay, so... Actually, wait. I bet he just shows P1 here, and they just, like, shit on the boss. Oh, yeah, so they kill the boss, and then he's showing... Oh, he's showing a full... Okay, so the boss starts here. It's basically a phoenix, right? It does the, like, egg rebirth thing. It gives half the raid a light feather, half the raid a dark feather. This is relevant for a few mechanics. This soak goes down. This is only for light players, and this also leaves a pool that never goes away after it. Okay, so all the light players soak this, and then there's an ad that comes out, which can only be kicked by a light player as well. That is the restriction. They just instantly shit on this boss. Obviously, it had very little HP. You'd probably live longer than this. You'll see a full phase of this more later. But they kill that egg, and now P2 starts, and it just keeps repeating this. So you go to the middle, boss jumps down, he tries to rebirth himself in an egg, and then you have to kill the egg. What ends the encounter is you end up killing the egg at the very, very, very end. But basically, it's just like a little dodge mechanic, right? It's pretty clear where the dark feather should go and where the light feather should go. Okay, can skip through this. That's the entire mechanic. They get it to 64%, right? And then you just repeat the other phase, which you barely saw any of before. So they do another light soak, you kill that ad. Then there's a dark soak, and you kill that ad. Again, they can only each be kicked by people that are of the respective color. Okay, then there's also Dark Orbs. So Dark Orbs are coming in. You need to soak these in Mythic before they hit the boss, or else you'll die. If you have a Dark Feather, you take 50% reduced damage from it. And I believe also a mechanic is if you ever soak the wrong color on Mythic, everyone dies. So they're soaking these before they hit the boss. There's also Light Orbs at the same time, so you'd want to like have some kind of rotation where you can have Light Orb people deal with that and Dark Orb people deal with it. And then boss phases again, and that's basically it. Except on Mythic, you'll obviously be in these phases for a bit longer. Oh yeah, there's another mechanic too. These little arrows come out, and this is a dark arrow, right? It'll always assign a dark arrow on a light person and a light arrow on a dark feather. And you need to have someone of the opposite color soak that. So like this person has a light feather. If he gets hit by this, he's dead. So you just need a dark feather person to soak it. You basically always want to soak things of your same color because you take less damage from it. It's kind of nice. All right, so that's basically it. This boss's difficulty. The only thing I can really point to is there's a few bosses in history that are kind of relevant here. Crucible of Storms, maybe less so. It was like a 2-boss raid released later in a patch, but it was much later. And the first boss of that raid was quite difficult. Another raid that I think of is Trial of Valor. It was a very small boss raid, 3-boss raid, where Odin was hard, Helya was hard, and Gwarm was hard. So, like, typically with low boss count raids that are at least intended to be difficult, they usually are all pretty hard. So I'm guessing this boss is going to be pretty challenging. I don't know if this was officially stated, but I think at least the guess is that this is going to be like, if these 9 bosses were all in one raid, that this would be like the 7th boss. So could end up being pretty cool. All right, and there's 2 more bosses. There's Midnight Falls and the last boss in the Void Spire. We did see Midnight Falls, though. Are there any... Does anyone have a VOD of that? So that was publicly streamed. At least a few pulls of it. I think Northern Sky Relo has one, maybe. You have it. We'll link in Discord. Okay. Do you think Illyria will be Gallywix difficulty boss since there's no Dungeon Journal on her? No. It'll probably be regular. You linked it in Discord. Okay. W. All right. So this is this is the first end boss to be streamed on PTR since Sylvanas, except this one was an accident. We only see a little bit early into the pull here, but I'll let you watch a little bit. Okay, so first thing he does is he does this like little memory thing where he's basically going to do 4 icons. Okay, like a little triangle, a little X, a little diamond, and a little T. And then now he's going to do a beam around him counterclockwise. And you just have to make sure that those things get beamed in that order. They're not doing that, so they're going to take a little raid damage here. So it does a... Yeah, T should be last, right? So it should be... I actually don't remember because my screen went black during it, but... it should be triangle, then X, then diamond, then T in order. And obviously they take a bunch of damage because they did that wrong. On Mythic, I'm sure that will kill you if you get it wrong. But it's a cool little mechanic. This was the first pull. Oh, there's a much better pull. Okay, and then there's like this little kick thing where you have to just slam kicks or damage into these. I wonder how long they last here. They do another beam. Then there's an intermission phase where these things send you to the other side, and you're also just DPSing him through a dodge in the middle. And this is basically as far as anyone got. Uh, that's basically it though. This was so basically the only way you could have gotten to this boss is by killing that first boss you just saw, the dragon, the phoenix, within 28 minutes. 28 minutes into the testing, they removed this. They made it unable to be done, which is why like none of the like very very top guilds did this. Not only because we're not quite sure if we would get in trouble for doing it, which you never want to do, but also for the reason of we were still doing the previous boss. We don't kill bosses we're testing. We usually spend the entire hour on the boss testing a bunch of different things until it's about to end, and then we'll kill it, or not killing it just isn't relevant. So you would have had to kill this boss intentionally early, which is typically only done by like casual groups that are just in there for fun. Because these bosses are very easily killable, but the reason to go in isn't to kill them, it's to learn, right? So we did not do this. Echo did not do this. I have no idea about method. That's basically it. So this is the last boss. This is the beginning of the last boss on Heroic, yeah. There's not too much value even in having these bosses tested versus not tested, at least in terms of the Race to World First when there is a Heroic week. Because when you see this boss and you have a week to see it on Heroic, you're basically getting infinite testing for it. So it's seeing it this early is like good, but it doesn't really matter. So you get to 1% and then intentionally wipe so you can get more info on the boss. That's typically how we test, yeah. 1%, sometimes it's higher than that, but yeah. Did you see the statement from the Weak Aura devs where they kind of talked about this boss? Not really. Although I have seen some bad takes, though. Like, I kind of don't blame people just because the visuals of it, they're like, oh, dude, now that there's no, like, weak auras, like, we're going to do these puzzle things. Like, bro, this weak auras wouldn't have done fucking shit for this mechanic. Like, you would have, like, the same way you solve it now would have been how you would have solved this with weak auras. It's the same thing. But I saw some people being like, bro, wow, look at new WoW rating. That's what the Weak Aura dev said. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't even know why. What was the rebuttal? Why were they even saying it? Oh, maybe because people were saying that? I'm a dumb fuck. I don't want memory games. I think you're overthinking it. Like, you're going to have someone in comms on a boss like this telling you, like, what order they need to go in. This is not challenging. Like, this is a raid leader mechanic / person in the raid putting down markers. Like, for example, I mean, just really basic way of solving this, and we do stuff like this all the time, is... Oh, man, I didn't download that thing I used to have, but okay, let's just, let's see. Okay, so... Let me screenshot this. Okay, so how you would do this is like you'd have a raid leader put down, let's say the order was triangle X, diamond T. I don't even know what the fuck T is supposed to be, but you would just have like, you'd have a raid leader put a triangle marker on the boss straight to the east. Oh, wait, don't I have a marker on? Okay. Have a little triangle marker right here, like ground marker. X is second. You'd put a little X marker behind the boss. You'd put whatever the next thing is, diamond. You'd do a little diamond marker to the other side of the boss. Oh, I actually fucked this up. Okay, no, you could have it start on diamond. And then T. I don't know what the fuck T is supposed to be, but it could be literally, it could be unmarked because it's the one that isn't an actual raid marker. And then now if you're this player, right? If you're a triangle, you just go stand here. If you're X, you just stand here. If you're diamond, you just stand here. And then the tank just aims it at the first one, which in this scenario was triangle. And then the mechanic just resolves. No weak aura needed. It's just a raid leader mechanic, which is commonly how you would handle things like this, right? But that's even just to make it pretty obvious. Like, you could also just have 4 players, no comms, look at the boss, and just make a fucking line. You know? Okay, that's basically it, though. Those are all the bosses. As far as how they're looking, we haven't done mythic testing yet, so that's not really an opinion to give. But I would say it's, if anything, it largely lines up with what you'd expect, which is that they're all WoW bosses. WoW rating isn't like different now; they're just like just regular bosses. I wonder if on Mythic, non-chosen players will have to not get hit by the beam. Oh, on Mythic, there will probably be 2 people of each marker. Or they could make it happen much faster. Or they could make it so if you touch someone of a different rune, you instantly die. They can do all kinds of things. Have you seen the sub rework? Nah, I mean, I could look at a few of the recent patch notes, though. No thoughts on the Illyria fight? I mean, I have some thoughts on it, but it wasn't publicly tested, so I'm not really going to talk about it. It is interesting in that they basically don't... The entire P2 of it is no dungeon journal, which is really sick. So I'm looking forward to that. When do we start with secret phase copium? I mean, there is a secret phase. It's there is no copium. It's just, that's just what it is. It's like literally like they basically just typed in the dungeon journal like this phase is a secret phase. Like that's just what it is. It's, you don't know anything about it. It's a secret. Just off of what we know, do we like the direction of bosses in a non-weak aura world? I think it's the same direction. It's the same direction. Like, look at a boss like Dimensius, the most recent end boss, one of the hardest end bosses ever. That entire fight, weak auras didn't do fucking anything except for P1, where the weak aura told you to go, you don't even think this is how it works anymore, but it told you to go left, like back left, back right, and middle for the Venn diagram on the reverse gravities. Like, you needed a weak aura to do that. But, like, let's just say you're making Dimensius in a non-weak aura world. You would have just had there only be 2 of those, or you would have had more time, or you would have sucked them down faster. You wouldn't have needed a Venn diagram, whatever. Because then if you don't need a Venn diagram, all of that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So, like, the fights are just the same. Basically, you could look at every fight that's required a weak aura, except for, like, Fractalus, basically. And you could be like, well, are they going in a different direction? They're just going to go in the same direction. They're just going to give you more time. Like, for example, if Brood Twister existed with no weak auras, maybe you don't have to Venn diagram them. Or maybe instead of 6 seconds, there's 8 seconds. Or maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you don't even need to overlap them at all. Like, there's so many. It's the same direction. It's just you just give yourself more. I think they call it affordance. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. I think affordance means something different. Was Fractalus on PTR the same difficulty level as how it was on live? No. I don't think the raid damage things did raid damage. on Mythic PTR. Like, it just literally didn't do damage. Fractalus 100% was made so they can say, hey, look, guys, this boss is why weak auras suck. I have never been more certain of anything in my life than what you just said is not true. There's just no way. There's literally no way. It is a funny bit, but like the reality of that actually being just literally no way. I mean, you can do Fractalus. The really complicated thing about Fractalus is done entirely out of game, which is just figuring out what the best order is. But I mean, you could call it every time. Like I said, you used an example from testing. We did Fractalus on testing the same way. We just natty called everything. You can natty call everything on live. It just sucks and is annoying. And your raid leader just says like 2,000 words in like 5 minutes. It's just really annoying. Plus, like, the lower skill guild you go, the more people would mess up and not be as good at improvising with that. But it's certainly possible. Fractalus is not a good example of a good boss, though, for sure. I've seen people spam that take, and it's so dumb. Oh, the Fractalus thing? Yeah, because I think it's just like a funny bit. It's like a funny bit that like the last raid where we had add-ons had Fractalus in it, which is like one of the worst add-on bosses. But, I mean, yeah, it's obviously there's no truth to that. Or it should seem obvious that that is the case. I'm just trying to picture the meeting between a boss designer and Ian, and they're like, we want to go a weird direction with one of these bosses. We want to make it as bad as possible. So we have some ground to stand on when we say we're removing add-ons, and here's why. Like, it's just like just trying to picture a conversation between two humans working a job that care about the game they're putting out. It's just completely ridiculous, right? It'd be more like a comedy skit. In their head, Kenan, Ian is the evil guy ordering them to do it that way. Yeah, I feel like when people, and again, I think most people saying that take, again, are just memeing. But for people who aren't memeing, the only thing I can think of is that they haven't worked a job before, or not many, and they just, it's like they can't actually, like when I just said, imagine some two people at their job having this meeting with their boss. They've literally never done that. So they don't know what that's like. So they can assume the craziest things, right? Or maybe the only thing they've ever seen of that is how it's depicted in like anime or something. So it's like just some crazy interpretation of how life actually works. Dude, I love how Stream Elements is still just spamming this sort of justice shit. Dude, that game was actually, it was pretty fun to do that. But unfortunately, the characters they gave us to do that raid was just, they just weren't strong enough for what they were asking us to do. The only one I can think of is Jailer. But like the reality is, if we didn't have weak auras on those bosses, the mechanic would have been nerfed far before we ever got even past the pull count it took to kill it. You know what I mean? Like there's two parts of Jailer specifically that were really challenging. And that was the first phase Jailer Bomb assignments, but also the stacking for, like, you remember how you had to stack in that like star formation to spawn the ads close enough to kill them in time? That without a weak aura would have been fucking wild. Like, probably impossible. Are you going to be able to track defensives on your screen now that they have unprotected spell casts? I'm kind of alone between friends saying that mostly with that is kind of trackable now. There's ways to do it in varying ways of it being annoying, like in a non-cheating way. But I don't think it's a huge deal for a few reasons. Number one, like the days of like Shadowlands where like I'm every single pull basically improvising all defensive cooldowns are over. Like for many years now, they're very like handled by different people. They're hard coded. They're given to people at a certain time, and it's all like very strict to where I don't call those cooldowns anymore unless we're getting into a new part of the fight we've never seen before. And it's like, okay, we haven't seen this before. We're in danger. I'm going to start calling people CDs. And what might have to happen now is I might have to be like, hey, do you have rally up? Can you do this? Instead of just saying for it to happen. But as far as like before that, like if that stuff's just going to be hard assigned. Do you think we will get another banger like Halandris now? That wasn't very weak or heavy, just timing sensitive and more individual group responsibility. Yeah, Halandris didn't really need any weak auras at all. But so have... I mean, like, we literally just got done with one of the best fights ever, Dimensius. And, like, weak auras didn't do fucking anything. Like, it was... Like I said, there was that one mechanic in P1, which you would make a slight alteration to. But, like, the whole, like, oh, well, now that add-ons are gone, can they make Halandris again? Like, bro, they've been making Halandrises. You know what I mean? I don't know how you can say Dimensius was a good fight. Oh, I haven't even heard this take. Wait, what's the take that Dimensius is bad? I'm actually very interested. Yeah, you guys are all saying Dimensius is good. That's the common take. I want the person that said it was bad. There's probably a legit reason. Dimensius on farm and late progression is just to stop damage. Oh, I didn't think about that. That sucks. That turbo sucks. Yeah, that can, dude, having to hold DPS for a long time as a DPS player can make a great fight bad real fast. That's valid. You don't hold now, you just do it without holding. Yeah, but there's definitely a time where you did do that though, you know what I mean? There's definitely a time where in between the beginning and now where you probably did. And if you killed it at that time, you would hate it. I think I'm having some kind of power issues. Because my main monitor actually keeps like basically flickering, like going on and off every now and then. Probably like every like 2 or 3 minutes. Plus my camera just keeps I think I'm having some kind of... I've always had weird electrical issues here. That's not good, Max. Yeah, I would assume it's not good, right? I just think Gallywix was doing end boss design better, and Dimmy pivoted back to the reactor die in 8 steps. Well, Gallywix was just like way too easy for an end boss, right? So maybe it's just that. It was less reactor die because there's nothing happening. Although P1 of Gallywix was really good. I thought it was like a good phase. But that was also pretty reacty. Wait, but I mean, I feel like Dimensius isn't reacty though. I feel like it's like really static. Like when you get reverse gravity in P2 and P3, you know where you're going. When you're swapping sides of the room in P2, you know where to go. If you're getting picked in the last phase, like you know what spot you're supposed to be at. You always go to the same devour soaks. Do you know what I'm saying? I actually don't even understand what you mean by that. What do you mean react in 8 seconds? Everything's like... Do you actually want to know what I mean? Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I was responding to what you were saying, and I don't understand. I'm not doing the thing where, like, I see someone type something, and then I'm, like, cherry picking a bad answer because I know they're wrong, and I want, like, I don't care about that at all. I actually don't know what about that fight was, reacty, I guess, at least compared to Gallywix. I feel like Gallywix was almost more reacty because like you didn't know if you were getting like the beams on you. Like that kind of changed every pull in the last phase, even though there wasn't a lot going on. Yeah, suppression being on you or not. P1 damage stop, P2 2 damage stops. Can we just play the game? Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. Like the last time that Blizzard did percentage-based phases was Sylvanas in like Sanctum of Domination, and unsurprisingly, anytime you have percentage-based pushes, you have damage stops for healer cooldowns, defensive cooldowns, and DPS cooldowns. And then in this raid, they basically just started doing that again for the first time ever. They didn't do it like, okay, Dimensius isn't a percentage-based phase, but, like, it is, you know? Like, when you get his health to 0 initially, you're basically getting him to, like, 70%. That's, like, a way to look at it. Like, that's a percentage-based phase. So, like, you do kind of have to hold CDs. But, yeah, it is a constant problem. They've done a few of them in this expansion now. The annoying thing about Dimensius is hitting a prog point 8 minutes in and then having to play 8 minutes to get one step further. I mean, that's just any hard boss, right? That's just how it works. But yeah, Dimensius was interesting in that Dimensius had a bunch of progression. Like, P1 progression, Dimensius was really hard. P2 progression, Dimensius was insanely hard. And then P3, and then there was a fourth thing of progression. After you learned all of P3, you had to go back and learn P1 without Lust. And that was harder than all of it. Like, P1 no Lust in that fight was crazy insane, bro. But I don't think a lot of other guilds went through that because he probably just pulled by not lusting in P1. What makes Gallywix good from my perspective is precisely that it gave people time to learn this space and make mistakes in a way end bosses don't anymore. Dimensius just pivots back to every event being all or nothing in a way that I find deeply uninteresting, I assume. Move to spread in 2 seconds or die, kill 4 adds at the same time, and then also before the next event or die. There's no space here for someone to take a moment to breathe. Tindral was the same, Fighter goes the same, Ansrek P1 was the same. I think the way, yeah, but I feel like it goes back to the first thing I said. Like, just reading that, it just sounds like the thing that is true about Gallywix and those is not like really deeply mechanical change. It's just simply like those bosses all have mechanics that are difficult enough to be considered a WoW end boss, and Gallywix didn't have them and therefore was a lot easier. So you're basically just saying, like, I liked it when end bosses weren't as hard, which, by the way, isn't like a crazy bad take. Like, that was one of the biggest misconceptions between the Gallywix season, is that like after the race, everyone was like, this raid is terrible, and then like as the end of the patch was happening, there was a lot of people that were like, this raid difficulty's real nice. Like, basically people were saying, I would much rather have a Gallywix than have an Ansarek, right? If I had to pick between these two things,
I would rather have the Gallywix, right? So I don't think your take is even a hot take, by the way. I think like a lot of people feel that way. It's definitely a subjective thing. Not having time to breathe and having to lock in is precisely what I love about this. Yeah, there's people who want both ways. Like if the Race to World first was just end bosses were Gallywix till the end of time, everyone that plays this game at a really high level would like not be challenged enough by the game, right? But then a lot of people might be happy with it. Same thing. That's why it was so polarizing, because you had like race players and race fans being like Gallywix was an embarrassment, and then you have like the vast majority of people who play the game on Mythic are like Gallywix is totally fine. I mean, the average Gallywix kill like throughout all of that season was like just over 100, which is like very similar to like Denathrius and Sarkareth and a bunch of other bosses that were like pretty well reviewed. Basically just Echo killed it in 50 pulls, and then it basically just made a bunch of people think it's just like a 50 pull boss when like basically every other guild killed it at 100. I've raid led for 12 years, and Gallywix was the first boss that I can remember since before Shadowlands where I had raiders whispering me that they were having fun and actually enjoying an end boss. They felt like they can learn it and that the challenge met them closer to where they are. Yeah, none of that is surprising. Like I said, I think that all kind of lines up. All right, what else was I going to do today? I think I was going to look at a couple of like patch notes or something. Let's see what we have to catch up on. That Liquid Guild will be a very fun watch. Where is that? Liquid Guild. Good takes versus bad takes. Okay. Let's browse through this. There's no timestamps. This might be unwatchable. Yeah. This is another day, I believe. They're all base takes. Yeah, everyone in Liquid is a genius. New interrupt philosophy showcased in Midnight's Mythic Plus testing. On the Midnight beta, there appears to have been some massive philosophy changes to enemy casters at Midnight, which should make coordinating interrupts easier. Fewer enemy casters overall, longer cast and cooldown times on important interruptible abilities, and bolts have been nerfed massively. That's interesting. I remember Dorky saying it kind of... I know in an interview they basically said they were doing this, so I was like, okay, they're doing this. But then Dorky said it didn't really feel like that in some of the dungeons, but then I know they hotfixed some other stuff. So it's basically just saying Blizzard said they're doing this, and we agree. Okay. They're catering to the millennial dad players whose brains take 3 seconds to send signals to their fingers. Well, I mean, I don't think it really matters either way, because, like, if you're a high key player, I don't think you have to worry about anything. Because, like, if you feel like like you're going to pull a dungeon to what is possible no matter what. If there's 2 bolters a pack, if there's 1, if there's 0, you're just going to pull more to where that pull has a chance of wiping you. And if it doesn't, you're going to pull larger, because that's just simply what you're doing. You're infinitely scaling Mythic Plus. You're trying to do that. So therefore, a like pull for you will always feel the same, because you're just going to make it as hard as possible. That is at least consistent with like high keys and on live. So I don't think there's anything to worry about for those players. There is still going to be a key level at which those bolts will one-shot. That's true. That's true of any infinitely scaling content. However, it may not ever get to the point. You may not ever get to that before you're bottlenecked by something else, though. Like, you might get gate kept on time before you're ever gate kept on the bolts one-shotting. Which I think is actually what a lot of people say they want, but... Okay. What else we got here? Tracking external defensives without add-ons at midnight. So this was 6 hours ago. Okay, so I saw this. You have like an external defensives frame, but I didn't see a list of like what is actually considered an external defensive. Because you could consider a lot of things in external. Like when you and I say external, we're probably thinking the same thing. Time Dilation, Iron Bark, Hand of Sack, Pain Sup, Monk Bubble, those kind of things, right? Like something that typically a healer gives you, and it's like you have a big damage reduction now. Those are the things that we have typically tracked with our own personal external things in the game. Blizzard might view it as something different. If it's not able to be whitelisted and blacklisted like every other buff and debuff thing in their UI, it's going to show things that you don't want to see. So I kind of need to... Okay, only track single target buffs like Life Cocoon, but not group effects like Rally. I need a list. Just give us a list. It mentions only single target externals. Okay, and not heals, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, if they're just straight up putting an external tracker in the game and you have the ability to make it look any way you want, like that or like this, which, by the way, the entire Blizzard classic, like the Blizzard default UI thing where they're doing the bars with the fat-ass icon to the left of it that's a different size, that shit has got to go. It's unusable. It looks so bad. Like, the icon is fine. A bar that looks different than this is fine, but, like, the cooldown manager default, like, bar thing looks... It's unable to be looked at. It's so bad. But, yeah, cool, W. That's good. Still no plans for weak auras and midnight. Okay. Well, what is the relevance of this? Because this was the case this was already the case. Now that the midnight release is announced, we wanted to give an update. As mentioned earlier, we don't currently plan to release weak auras. Okay. Can probably just stop reading there, right? Nothing changed. Purely a technical issue. A tool like Weak Aura is a fundamentally incompatible Blizzard's vision for add-ons. Cool. Good news. We're not mad. Don't put in the papers that we're mad. Goodbye. Good riddance. Dude. Holy fuck. This is so good. Bro, Thanksgiving was yesterday. That's so good. These people are born mad. Okay, wonder if there's anything interesting in the last notes. Okay, the midnight release was actually later. It was later than I thought it would be. I thought it was coming out like mid-Feb. I thought we were like doing the race in March. How long after midnight releases will the raid open? Typically expansion releases are like expansion week, second week, and then that is when the season starts. Right? I believe that's what they did in Shadowlands, Dragonflight, and The War Within. So I imagine that will be the same. I thought it was 3 to 4 weeks. No. Dragonflight was 2 weeks, then Heroic, then Mythic. Yeah, I believe that will happen again. It was 2.5 because of early access. Yeah, from the official release. Dragonflight didn't have a Heroic week. You're right, but The War Within did. And I believe the War Within was week, Heroic week, and then Mythic. Could be wrong. Although, I would kind of be a fan of there only being the 1 week, but I know that it's like to give people time to like level. But I would like just the 1 week in that. That'd be sweet. But they'll never do it. I am willing to bet that I sub to you that the raid will open after we have had 3 weeks. Okay. Thanks for the sub. I mean, they haven't done that in a very long time, but I guess they could. I actually think it's even, isn't it even less likely that they would do that in this expansion because they're releasing another raid even more delayed, which they would not want to be super far from the expansion. I'll take the sub, though. And then Fellowship apparently had an announcement. So where is this? Twitter Fellowship. Oh, so there's nothing except for the current patch notes? Yo, they nerfed my character. I can't fucking believe it, bro. They nerfed my guy. They finally mentioned Mara. In, like, all of these notes. First time Mara's been mentioned. And it's a fucking nerf. And it's a nerf to our funnel of all things. The fuck is that? It's crazy. Oh yeah, so they're nerfing Eternal in preparation for the Eternal queue. That's gonna be... I'm probably gonna play the game again on the Eternal queue just to see how that works. They had the post about the January new season. Did they give a date? It was on the dev stream. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to look that. Okay. Blizzard improves nameplates. Some examples of the improved nameplates with add-ons and without. Okay. Well, which one's with add-ons? There's some weird reorganization that seems to be occurring. I'll wait till I see a video on it. I was enjoying Fellowship so much, and the lack of Eternal queue killed it pretty much instantly once I reached it. Yeah, I can kind of see that. Dude, it's so funny how Fellowship for me just it worked like every other ARPG, which is probably not surprising because it's an ARPG, but like, there is a point where I quit an ARPG, and it is when My character is pretty much done gaining power. The second that happens, I'm fucking out. There's nothing that will keep me. It's like I am so addicted to that carrot on the stick. Like the gameplay can be great and gameplay's awesome, but like it is the ARPG is a perfect mix of the carrot on the stick plus the gameplay, and as soon as that carrot's gone, bro, I'm so out. Like as soon as I got my gems maxed out, I just didn't log in anymore. Yep, horse behavior, exactly. Max, will you try the next PoE2 season out? Yeah, I really enjoyed the last one. It's starting on the 12th. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. It depends. I'm going to my family's house later in December, too. Say hi for me? Oh, I will. My mom loves Frank. Every time I talk to my mom, she always asks me about Frank and Dratnos and Dorky. Oh, many requested features coming to in-game damage meter. Hello, there's a lot of custom handling. Yeah. What are we getting, though? Okay. The damage meters in beta are far from their final form. There's a lot of custom handling. The damage meter add-ons like sites used to consolidate damage sources, and we have similar handling in place in a few weeks. Currently, yep. Obviously, those are bugs. Pets and Guardians, got it. Okay, as an example, in a future beta update, the default damage done view will show both total damage and DPS side by side. Perfect. We're working on an enemy damage taken breakdown, so we can see how much damage each enemy in an encounter took from each player. This is several weeks out. We're also working on a death recap functionality because it's important to have a clear understanding of what caused the death. Yep, that's what we need. Like basically this. Enemy damage taken, what caused a death, damage taken by spell, and honestly, we're good. Like, the rest of the stuff is totally icing on the cake. Buff up time, interrupts. Bro, you can go to logs for all that shit. That's so minor. Like, basically those are 90% of what you need. All right, boys. Well, it's about that time. You know what I mean? Just simply about that time. I do need to fix my electrical issue. I do have a watch the classic WoW loot drama. What is that? What is the classic WoW loot drama? Actually, you know what? There's literally nothing that could make me care about that. I'm pretty sure. Like, I think the only Classic-related drama that's happened in the last... Since Classic has come out that was worth reacting to was the Fifth Horseman thing. It's me. Okay. I'll watch the beginning of it if y'all really think it's that funny. Okay.
Just
Okay.
typical streamer trash, bro.
All right, we're off to a fucking blazing
In
start
this
here.
video, this Spaz Showbeck here ninjas me.
Wait, so Showbeck is this guy? Who is this guy? Just some disgruntled Classic player X?
I outroll him. They ninja, the loot master ninjas him. He's
Okay.
about to message him. Watch this. It's all colluded. It's all willful ignorance. What you're about to see is the most shameful shameless streamer behavior, simp streamer worship behavior, lack of critical thinking. I wanted to debate the guy. I wanted to make my point. He wouldn't unmute, so he couldn't make my point. They kicked me because I was standing up for myself, because I won the roll.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We both rolled off spec. And because he rolled main spec, even though he's DPS, he rolls for the shield, he gives him the roll. Watch this. I outroll him. They ninja me.
Yeah, I
roll that
wanted
out,
to
dude.
debate him.
Look,
Just
he's
roll
messaging
that shield
the
out.
fucking guy. He knows these guys. They're little streamer simps, right?
Right now. For the Bunkai.
It's a pug.
Dude, for the
Everybody in
Bunkai
here
right
is
now.
random. We're all under the consensus opinion that it's all fair game, that nobody's making secret team-ups going on here. This greasy weasel here is doing secret talks, telling guys, watch this willful.
He called him a fucking greasy weasel, bro. Okay.
Is doing secret talks, telling guys, watch this willful ignorance from the master looter. He gives him my shield. I should be rocking that thing, taking it to Skolomance right now.
Dude, the best part about this is he has incredible comedic timing. Like, he's basically doing an expertly done bit, but it's 100% genuine. Like, he's being 100% real. Like, this guy was born and forged in the classic streets to be like this, and that's why it's so funny. Like, look at the way he looks at the camera with the right now. Back it up.
I for willful
Check this out.
ignorance
Check this out.
from the master looter. He gives him my shield. I should be rocking that thing, taking it to Skolomance right now.
Like, dude, that's just a bit. Like, this guy is it's not almost positive he's not doing a bit. But he's just like, this guy would be a goated content creator.
Chat, right now, we're on a low roll, too. I think we got it.
Look at this bullshit. Roll it. He immediately rolls it, dude. He just, Look at this, dude. You're a little guy out there. You're a little tiny guy. Fuck you. Hey, you're a little tiny guy. Prepare to get fucked. Don't ever go anywhere near these sick, toxic, infected, poisonous scum.
58's a winnable. 58's a winnable. Fuck!
Look. He main spec rolled, see? Even though it's off spec. And his chat even calls him out. Everybody calls him out. Everyone else who...
Wait, what's the difference? Is 1 out of 99 an off spec roll and 1 out of 100 is a main spec roll? Is that just to quickly determine like which one you're rolling for, so you don't have to use an add-on? It's not like literally the only benefit of rolling main spec is you get potentially one more thing you can roll. Just easier to identify.
Is rolling off spec, except this 5 here, right? And his argument is that, well, if you really wanted it, you should have cheated. You should have been unethical. If you really wanted it, you should have been unethical. And then the loot master, he can't critical. Oh, whoops! I accidentally. I supposed to do it. It was main spec, even though the streamer. Everybody knows the streamer. He's been shouting the whole fucking stream before this. Right, but then like in the raid, being obnoxious, but then he won't unmute to actually talk to me after he fucking ninjas me, and his little simps willfully give it to him over me.
No, oh, it's off roll.
Watch.
It's off. Yeah.
Watch. So right now, so far, he's won, except it's an off roll, a 59 above him.
Yes, and I beat it. We actually pulled.
So he lost it, and then I rolled a 79 right there, 79. I actually. Right, looking back, I should have main spec. I should have been unethical. I should have tried to cheat. Is that? Yeah, that's the lesson we're gonna learn here. These are streamers influencing massive, dude.
Do you know what this made me wonder? I mean, obviously this is a different situation, but I really wish this guy was, as he would say, Wilford ignorance, and he was in one of my like post Racer World First viewer raids where I invite like 29 people and I take every fucking item, but like he got in there on accident. And is like watching my stream and just me just getting traded all this fucking loot. He would just like turn into the Joker or something. But obviously it's different than like being in a...
They're influencing the masses. I'm sick of their shameless garbage behavior, dude.
We fucking
I'd be the
pulled.
greasiest
Secret
weasel to ever
fucking
live.
clicks in these secret meetings. Meanwhile, all the rest of us are acting ethical. We're out here playing by the rules. Meanwhile, we're getting scammed and screwed over. made into a little slave. I'm just a little slave who comes here and I heal this raid with BIS high level healing for free. I just do it
Damn,
because I'm a little streamer slave that I didn't consent to this. I didn't know this guy was going to be in my party. I didn't consent to this. I didn't know he was in the party till we're already on the first boss locked, and he's shouting and being obnoxious like streamers do. Anyways,
We actually pulled
Dude, I will say this guy is like in the 99th percentile for hating streamers, though. This guy fucking hates us greasy weasels. Just absolutely despises that there are people who make a living playing games.
so he's outrolled. And
Fucking
he's playing it.
streamers.
See, he's trying to play it as if he knows he won. But even though he knows he rolled off spec, people in his chat knows he rolled off spec. Everyone in the raid knows he rolled off spec. I made this point in the Discord, and
All right, I'm at the point now. I get it. You hate streamers. He rolled main spec. What I'm trying to see is when he's actually talking about debating this guy. At the very beginning, he said, I offered to debate him, which is just an insane thing to say. And I needed to get to that point now.
We gotta STD the streamer because maybe he'll, I don't know. He doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't know you. He'll never know you. He'll never care about you. You'll never be anything to him. You're not a content creator. You mean nothing to him except donations. That's how these people think.
Damn.
No way! The BWL fucking
And he
sweep!
knows it. And of course he's gonna equip it immediately. So he can't backtrap.
Oh,
right? Can't backtrack
my
now.
God.
Celebrates.
I never got this shield before in my life.
He's off spec. He's been DPS.
Dude, also, if you think about it, it is kind of insane that he's making this entire video. Okay, clearly also this was like a straw that broke the camel's back, right? This guy been hating streamers. This is not the first act of a streamer that made this guy pissed off. Because it's an off-spec item. It's not even like he got ninja'd on something he actually cares about. It's for like an off-spec shield, right? Like who fucking that such low priority, right? But like that made him make this video, dude. He's been wrong done by so many streamers.
The entire raid. He's been DPSing the entire raid. Everyone knows he's fucking off spec roll.
Oh,
He's playing it off like, you know, you flip these rolls around and they'll catch every little mistake, every little detail, and this sort of foolish mistake would never happen.
I mean, he is kind of right though, in that if this was flipped around and that streamer rolled off spec and this guy rolled main spec, and then like that guy even brought it up for 5 seconds on his stream, he would just have a bunch of little minions going after this guy, like fucking doxing him, and like, you know, they're classic viewers, so probably they'd do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like he would actually be dealing with so much harassment if it was just flipped around.
with it.
But you roll with the streamer, and of course you get fucking ninja.
Oh my
That should be
God,
me.
what a
That's
dude.
my shield, bro. That should be
We
me.
are the only SR on Ash Condi.
If he's main rolling for a shield, main spec roll for a shield, why is he only SRing a fucking two-hander, bro? The admission right there. You don't even have to be
I
in
don't
the
even know
raid.
what
There's the
SR
admission.
means. I don't want to know, by the way. Do not tell me.
He's DPS main spec. He got outrolled. He shouldn't have rolled main spec. The loot master gave it to him on accident.
hell
Man,
yeah.
this is BS, dude. I'm never rolling.
Why does
with a
this kid
streamer
look
again.
like he's straight out of 2005? Oh, I mean, you hit that pretty on the head. I think in a lot of ways he is. Like I think this is the kind of person where that is a very good description. They are literally stuck in
Wanna be warrior
2005.
even more. I'll
It's
fucking
disgusting,
2X wars,
dude.
I don't care.
Don't go anywhere near these
Holy.
people. They're secret little cliques, dude.
Oh
Screwing
my
you over,
God,
treating you
that's
like
so-
slaves, dude. Look at him.
This shield it's really good. If the
What's he
sword
remind
drops,
you of?
the
That shield does
bar
look
in
pretty
the
good. I would've
O
ninja'd that.
A
stays.
greasy little weasel. That's
I
what.
don't know. I mean, like, dude, it's not gonna be as good in like 8 weeks because of TBC.
Dude, the greasy weasel is taking me the fuck out. That is
I
so
couldn't tell
good.
you
That is
that.
such a
Always be his hair
good
color. Are you
insult.
kidding me? Get out of here.
I'm gonna steal that, bro.
And he should have unmuted, bro. He
Fucking
should have unmuted and talked
greasy
to me.
weasel.
But he's a coward. Because he knew he did wrong and he didn't want to have to try to deal with it. To deal with the embarrassment. I would have embarrassed him. You look like a fool. Your chat's looking like you fool. Everyone in the raid's telling me.
I would have embarrassed him.
I'm blacking out.
Oh, what?
think they're-
I'm playing stupid.
What's up?
Oh wait. What
Please
I'm
do.
saying is, wait, what's he saying to him? He rolled Lel Lamau. Oh, he's like
Dude,
popping off in
positivity.
guild chat. I see.
I'm a good guy. You're a bad
Basically,
man.
we did.
You're a bad man, and you stole my shield, bro. I'll never forgive you for this.
Okay, it has to be a bit.
You're gonna
The way he just hit that straight to the camera,
log
though.
off and just AFK on your warrior, dude. I play this game. You're gonna go be a
I mean,
stream-
dude, if this is a bit, which again, 99% sure it's not, this guy should be a content creator, though. This is insane
I
content.
play this game. This game's the good stuff to me.
Ban that guy from WoW, Twitch, YouTube. I think someone is mad.
Let's see.
Wait, are they mad that I won the thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Don, thank you so much for the Bunkai
Yeah.
bomb.
Streamer Privilege, what
He
he's
rolled?
talking about.
What is this? 2 items he is rolling as main spec. Okay, who's this
Yeah,
guy?
they're DPS items that he's
Okay,
rolling
you are
for.
literally fucking melee as well. I don't know what you're talking about.
He ad homs. He attacks it. He attacks the warrior instead of attacking the warrior's point, right?
Every single warrior in
This
here is
dude,
DPS.
this
other than
fucking
guy,
Showback guy,
and
he
is
should have
also-
unmuted and talked to me like a man about it. He stayed muted because he knew he was in the wrong, and he's just trying to deflate this scenario.
Little
You guys
quick
need to
ad
like
hom.
this video, you need to comment on it, you need to share it with everybody. Expose this. He's trying to bury it. You need to expose this.
Fury tanking, and he also has the bulwark all.
This behavior is
He didn't even
unacceptable.
roll
Imagine
on it,
all the
which means
people who
every
are
other
too
warrior
afraid to
in-
make the content, who are too dim to stand up for themselves, are too cowardly. You need to do your part. I'm doing my part. You do your part.
What? That's right, a DPS warrior, which means every warrior rolls on it, and that's why Eddie.
Listen to
he
this
didn't even
backward
roll
ass,
out every single
disassociated, schizophrenic fucking psychobabble.
warrior
Listen to
in here
this.
is DPS other than this guy, and he is also Fury tanking, and he also has the bulwark already. He didn't even roll on it, which means every other warrior is what? That's right, a DPS warrior, which means every warrior rolls on it, and that's why I rolled on it. Mwah.
What's that even mean? He delivers it with such confidence. It's like, you just said nothing. We're all DPS warriors, so I rolled main spec.
Oh my
Mwah.
God,
Like, what are
CHG
you
round
talking
2,
about?
Yeah, I guess so. Listen. That
I'm a
makes sense.
paladin. Listen, and there are little simps in the Discord trying to defend him. I'm a paladin. I'm a holy paladin. He's a fury warrior. We're both in there off spec. It's very straightforward. It's very simple.
In Classic, is there like a... Do DPS warriors get like priority tank off-spec stuff over holy paladins? Because like prot warriors in Classic are a lot... I believe... I'm making this the fuck up. I've never played Classic, but like they're like more useful because you need warrior tanks at some point, right? So like you need some of your DPS warriors to go tank, maybe, but not in a pug. Yeah, it's a pug, so maybe it doesn't sound like the streamer's making that argument either.
I
If
won the
there's
role.
Do we have a druid? DMG doesn't need it. and
End of
Grippy doesn't
discussion.
need it. Okay, so then all the warriors roll on it. Well, I was the highest warrior roll. Huh?
Huh? Hey, fuck the little guy, right?
The rational on your stream is laughable, Showback. You're rage baiting me. Bunkai.
You're rage baiting. Whatever that deflection is, whatever that is. Don't respond to it. Don't actually respond to
You
it.
were the second
Say
highest
some
since
bullshit
you rolled.
term.
3,
Nice, dude.
1.
All right, is this about over? Does he
we're
have...
standing for this shit? Asmund, we're standing for this. We're gonna stand for this?
Wait, who?
Nice, dude.
1.
Asmongold, we're standing for this shit?
Wait,
Asmund,
why is he talking about Asmongold?
we're standing for this. We're gonna stand for this?
Wait, I'm so confused. Why is Asmongold in
We're
the...
just gonna, this is cool.
No, I rolled.
I mean, the dude's a 500 viewer fucking nobody, you know? He gets
Oh, but now he's a nobody. That's... I mean, I guess it's a little ad homs, right, as he says. But I like how before he's like, all these streamers are fucking weasels. They have all these simps, and he's like, this streamer's a fucking
posted
nobody.
and all this shit.
Which
Good
one
for
is
you,
it?
dog? But like, come on, guys.
Also,
We're gonna
500
stand
viewers
for
is a
this
lot
shit
of viewers.
Still,
That's full-time job streaming.
Out of 100, I rolled main. There was a guy that rolled 99.
me. I rolled a
If you rolled
76
99
out of 99.
on the, you wouldn't roll that.
You wouldn't roll that.
You wouldn't roll that.
You wouldn't roll that. If it's your off spec and I'm off spec too, you wouldn't roll off spec roll. Where's the logic in that? You wouldn't do that.
Yep, this guy's just a
If
fucking
you were
greaser.
unethical, you wouldn't do
Little
that.
weasel.
You would only do that if you were ethical. If you were a good person, you would only do that. You would only roll main spec if you were a scamming streamer.
Okay, I see what chat's
You would
trying
only
to do.
roll a main spec if you're a little snake in the grass, secretly clicked up, gaining advantages against everyone
Little
else. Who
snake
thinks
in the
it's-
grass.
They're on their own. Like, it's the whole thing's a pug. There's like 3 people who knew each other in here. The whole thing's a fucking pug. You know, the little simps. They say, "Oh, a streamer. Oh, I'm a fan. I'm a fan." They probably don't even watch him. He's got 500 viewers. No one watches you, dude.
Well, except for those 500 people.
The amount of viewers that you have that actually play the game, like, you know, that are online, that are in this raid, like, come on.
All right, I don't know why I'm
he won
even
with
here.
off-spec
Like
roll,
3
that shit
fans.
Does he let off any other bangers that are on the level of Greasy Little Weasel?
on his MS.
It's gonna be hard to top that, bro.
You know,
Oh, he won with off-spec roll that should have done his MS.
like they.
It's
Don't
the
roll with
hate he
streamers,
says
dude.
it
That's
with.
the
Oh
lesson.
yeah, bro.
Just
It's
don't
real.
roll with streamers. There it is.
Who is it?
78. I won. 78. Jupiter. 78 out of 99. 58. Where's the confusion here? The streamer's obnoxious. We're all paying attention to him. We know he's DPSing the whole time. Where's the confusion here? It's not like he was some quiet other warrior who we weren't all being forced to pay attention to because he was being extremely obnoxious. You know? There's no excuse here. This is willful ignorance to be a simp for the breadcrumb of a chance to be able to get close to a streamer for whatever reason. You're nothing. You're nobody. You'll always be nobody. You'll never be anybody. These guys will never care about you. They'll never care about anything you have to say, etc.
Dude, I wonder what happened to this guy or someone close to him to hate streamers this much. I wonder if he like. Well, no, I probably shouldn't bring. I had a mod a long time ago that like definitely was like a little weird, and I had to like distance myself from him, and I could see that person turning out like this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like basically they didn't like I'm not saying that is this guy, but like I could see them being friends with the streamer and then no longer being for whatever reason, and then like that's just like this person is the Joker in their movie where they're the Batman. Like something had to happen, bro, where this person just hates people so much. They're never gonna fucking notice you, bro.
You're pathetic. You've disgraced yourself, your entire bloodline, and all of your race.
What is it? Was going to say big someone that had their mod privileges removed. I just think this dude has big Reddit mod energy, if that makes sense.
humanity. The entire planet is ashamed of your pathetic behavior.
But I'm just a
on this
greasy
day.
little weasel, so don't listen to me.
You sold out your
Wait, what-
country,
wait,
your
rewind?
behavior,
Miss?
all of
Sorry.
You're pathetic. You've disgraced yourself, your entire bloodline, and all of your race and humanity.
You've disgraced yourself, your entire bloodline, your race. Wait, let's hit all this back.
You're pathetic. You've disgraced yourself, your entire bloodline, and all of your race and humanity. The entire planet is ashamed of your pathetic behavior on this day. You sold out your country.
What does that mean?
For what?
This has to be a bit, bro. If it's not a bit, he's just so funny, man.
You sold out your brothers for what? For a shekel?
Easy clap. Typically, when I see
Never
on
rolling with
this,
the streamer
if I see
again,
a
bro.
person
This
rolling
is the
on this-
only kind of bullshit you get with the fucking streamer. And this is why the WoW audience hates streamers. This is why they're resentful of streamers. You're so easy to hate. You're the worst people.
Then he doesn't really want it.
See? You
It's
don't.
like
You're
100
not
would be for
cheating.
the
You don't
MS,
really,
it's
really
based
want
on
it.
running, you
Okay,
just
dude.
roll.
Well, you should have let me know that.
You've
You
let
shoulda
down
let
your
me know
fucking country, bro.
Because I'm sorry.
You've sold out your entire bloodline.
Since I've been playing WoW again for the last couple months, I haven't dealt with anyone like you. We make ethical deals, you know, where I'll roll on this, he'll roll on that, you know.
Yeah.
We make ethical agreements. We act ethically towards each other. We don't do, oh, well, he should have cheated. Oh, he should have cheated. I'm just going to poison the fucking population of WoW. I'm going to poison the community with toxic retard behavior and then act like
there
I'm
we
a
go.
toxic, a positive whatever.
Yeah, I was about to
you know,
say
he's
it's
got the
kind of
soul. I'm
crazy he didn't rip that so far because I feel like that's just like so in his
Oh, dude,
vocabulary.
good. No, dude, you're toxic and you're sick and twisted. You're disgusting. You're conniving. And you're a loser, dude. And you only have 500 viewers. How long have you been doing this? How many connections do you have? How many collabs have you done? How many?
Oh my god.
You're pathetic.
I wonder if he hated specifically this guy before. Like, if this guy generated this much hate for this guy just off of the. I know he's a streamer and he's transferring the hate he has for streamers to this guy specifically, but dude, he is saying some shit about this dude. And it was just off of one item, man.
You lose. The only shame is that I didn't have my perspective of this because it was hilarious.
Well,
But I
now
was
your perspective is much more popular, right? I
saying
feel like
to
this
this
blew
guy's
up
in
if
Discord.
you guys are
It
asking
would be
me
weird
to
to do it
look
99,
at
but
it.
I can see that for sure. Easy clap. Who's this dude?
But anyway, everyone hates this
Easy
guy.
clap, a
Most of the
paladin,
streaming community hates this
fucking
guy, I'm pretty
healer.
sure.
Yeah, I just made it up.
That's not even me.
But why would you even
Retard.
care about that?
Bro,
Because the
are
rest of
we-
the streamers
Doesn't
are
even
just
look at
fucking
me.
Are we
weasels.
dialing in here, or what the fuck is going on?
I'm
Okay,
dripped
you
in
guys,
epics.
What the fuck?
Nothing but
Bro,
epics. I carried
bro,
this raid.
Bro, homie.
He's
chill
looking
the
at a
fuck.
female dwarf. It's not even me,
Okay,
bro.
I'll tell you,
The
dude,
more
I need-
willful
I need-
ignorance.
We need to dial in here real quick, chat. Okay, we need to dial the fuck in.
Yeah,
Alright,
dial
if you
in,
think the
bro.
Bulwark is going
Unmute
to a
next
female
time,
fucking
coward.
Paladin dwarf, you are out of your goddamn mind. Off spec is not the same, bro. No,
This
no,
dude won't even play the game. He won't
Warrior
do anything for the
off-spec is
community.
so fucking
He'll
different than Paladin
AFK.
healing
He'll
spec.
summon his drones.
Warrior
He'll do
off-spec,
nothing
even
with
as
that shield.
DPS, you swap
The things I would have
with
done
a
for that
shield
shield
on
for my
Ocean Moments
Warcraft
and Lip
community,
Talk.
the things
Get
I would have
My
done, the
community?
levels I would have
Ain't
gotten,
no way.
the Lobies and Skullmans,
Ain't no way.
the people who need
Ain't no
the
way,
reputation, the people who are farming
Ain't no way.
runes and gear,
Alright,
etc.
anyways, let's get the
That's
vibes
me.
back.
It should have been me.
I get
If it
people in
was
the
a
raids.
warrior, I
What
would've
do
given
you
him
do,
Doomhow
bro?
and,
You
the
ninja.
boots.
You steal from me.
If it was a warrior, I would
lie.
have given him Doomhow. But
Anyways, like, comment, repost this shit. Fuck streamers.
Dude. That was worth a watch. Very surprising I watched that whole thing, but that was fucking worth it. That guy's very funny. Fuck streamers. Did you like the video? Watch his follow-up videos? I won't be doing that, but he does have some. That's good. I'm going to take down my Showbeck video if all streamers aren't bad. Thank you for all your support. What? Bro, he immediately flipped it. Now that he's getting some views, he's like, yo, all streamers aren't bad. Not me.